भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। श्रीमद् भागवतम कैंटो 3 चैप्टर 9 टेक्स्ट 1। ब्रह्मोवाच ज्ञातोऽसि मेधया सुचिरन्ननो देहभाजां न जायते भगवतो गतिरित्यवत्यं नान्यत्वदस्ति भगवन्नपि तन्न शुद्धं मायागुणव्यतिकराद् यद् उरुर्विभासि।
Hare Krishna. Um, Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Lord Brahma said, O my Lord, today after many, many years of penance, I have come to know about you. Oh, how unfortunate the embodied living entities are that they are unable to know your personality. My Lord, you are the only knowable object because there is nothing supreme beyond you. If there is anything supposedly superior to you, it is not the absolute. You exist as the supreme by exhibiting the creative energy of matter.
Text 2. रूपं यतेदद् अवोपधरसोदयेन शश्वन्निवृत्त तमसः सद् अनुग्रहाय आदौ गृहीतम् अवतार शितैकबीजं यन्नाभिपद्मभवनादहम् आविरासम्।
The form which I see is eternally freed from material contamination and has advented to show mercy to the devotees as a manifestation of internal potency. This incarnation is the origin of many other incarnations, and I am born free from the lotus flower grown from your navel home.
Text 3. नातः परं प्रम यद्भवतः स्वरूपम् आनन्दमात्रम् अविकल्पम् अविद्धवर्चः पश्यामि विश्वसृजम् एकम् अविश्वमात्मं भूतेन्द्रियात्मकामदस्त उपाश्रितोऽस्मि।
O my Lord, I do not see a form superior to your present form of eternal bliss and knowledge. In your impersonal Brahman effulgence in the spiritual sky, there is no occasional change and no deterioration of internal potency. I surrender unto you because whereas I am proud of my material body and senses, your lordship is the cause of the cosmic manifestation, and yet you are untouched by matter.
Text 4. तद्वा इदं भुवन मङ्गलमङ्गलाय ध्याने स्मनो दर्शितं त उपासकानां तस्मै नमो भगवते अनुविधेम तुभ्यं यो नादृतो नरक भागभिरसत् प्रसङ्गः।
This present form, or any transcendental form expanded by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is equally auspicious for all the universes. Since you have manifested this eternal personal form upon whom your devotees meditate, I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Those who are destined to be dispatched to the path of hell neglect your personal form because of speculating on material topics.
Text 5. ये तु त्वदीयचरणाम्बुजकोशगन्धं जिघ्रन्तिकर्णविवरः श्रुतिवातनितं भक्त्या घृतिचरणः पराय च तेषां नापैशीनाथ हृदयाम्बुहुरात् स्वपुंसाम्।
O my Lord, persons who smell the aroma of your lotus feet, carried by the air of Vedic sound through the holes of the years, accept your devotional service. For them, you are never separated from the lotus of their hearts.
Text 6. तावद्भयं द्रवीणदेहसुहरन्निमितं शोकः स्वरा परिभवो विपुलश्च लोभः तावन्ममत्ते सद् अवग्रह आर्तिमूलं यावन्न ते निग्रहम् अभयं प्रवर्णितलोकः.
O my Lord, the people of the world are embarrassed by all material anxieties. They are always afraid. They always try to protect wealth, body, and friends. They are filled with lamentation and unlawful desires and paraphernalia. And they are variously base their understandings on the perishable conceptions of my and mine. As long as they do not take shelter of your safe lotus feet, they are full of such anxieties.
Text 7. दैवेन ते हतधियो भवतः प्रसङ्गात् सर्वाशुभो भस्मनाद् विमुखेन्द्रियाये कुर्वन्ति कामसुखलेश लवायदीना लोभाभिभूतमनसो कुशलानि शश्वत्.
O my Lord, persons who are bereft of the all auspicious performance of chanting and hearing about your transcendental activities are certainly unfortunate and are also bereft of good sense. They engage in inauspicious activities, enjoying sense gratification for a very little while.
Text 8. क्षुत्रित्रिदादुभिरिमा मुहुरर्द्यामानः शीतोष्णवातवरसैर् इतरेतराश्च कामाग्निनाच्युतरुष च सुदुर्भरेण सम्पश्यतो मन उरुक्रम सिद्धते मे.
O great actor, my lord, all these poor creatures are constantly perplexed by hunger, thirst, severe cold, secretion, and bile, attacked by coughing winter, blasting summer, rains, and many other disturbing elements, and overwhelmed by strong sex urges and indefatigable anger. I take pity on them, and I am very aggrieved for them.
Text 9. यावत् पृथक्त्वम् इदम् आत्मन इन्द्रियार्था मायाबलं भगवतो जन ईश पश्येत् तावन्न संस्मृतिरसौ प्रतिशङ्क्रमेत व्यर्थापि दुःख निवहं वहति क्रियार्था.
O my Lord, the material miseries are without factual existence for the soul. Yet, as long as the conditioned soul sees the body as meant for sense enjoyment, he cannot get out of the entanglement of material miseries, being influenced by your external energy.
Text 10. अन्य अप्रतार करणानिशि निशयाना नाना मनोरथ धिया क्षण भग्ननिद्रः दैवाहतार्थ रच न रस्योऽपि देव युष्मत्प्रसङ्ग विमुखा इह संसरन्ति.
Such non devotees engage their senses in very troublesome and extensive work, and they suffer insomnia at night because their intelligence constantly breaks their sleep with various mental speculations. They are frustrated in all their various plans by supernatural power. Even great sages, if they are against your transcendental topics, must rotate in this material world.
Text 11. त्वं भक्तियोग परिभावित हृत्सरोज अस्य श्रुतेक्षितपथो ननु नाथ पुंसां यद्यध्यात् उरुगाय विभावयन्ति तत्तद् विपुः प्रणस्य सद् अनुग्रहाय.
O my Lord, your devotees can see you through the years by the process of bona fide hearing, and thus their hearts become cleansed, and you take your seat there. You are so merciful to your devotees that you manifest yourself in the particular eternal form of transcendence in which they always think of you.
Text 12. नाति प्रसीदति तथोपचितोपचारैर् आराधितः सूरगणैर् हृदि बद्धकामः यत्सर्वभूत दयया सत् अलभ्ययायिको नानाजनेष्व अवहिता सुरदनन्तरात्मा.
My lord, you are not very much satisfied by the worship of the demigods, who arrange for your worship very pompously with various paraphernalia, but who are all full of material hankerings. You are situated in everyone's heart as the supersoul, just to show your causeless mercy, and you are the eternal well wisher, but you are unavailable for the non devotee.
Text 13. पुंसामतो विविद्धकर्मभिरध्वराद्यैर्दानेन कोग्रचपसा परिचर्याय च आराधनं भगवतस्तव सत्क्रियार्थो धर्मोरपितः कर्हिचित् म्रियते न यत्र.
But the pious activities of the people, such as performance of Vedic rituals, charity, austere penances, and transcendental service, performed with a view to worship you and satisfy you by offering you the fruitive results, are also beneficial. Such acts of religion never go in vain.
Text 14. शश्वत् स्वरूप महसैव निपित भेद मोहाय बोध धीसनाय नमः परस्मै विश्वोद्भव स्थिति लयेषु निमित्तलीला रासाय ते नम इदं चक्रमेश्वराय.
Let me offer my obeisances unto the Supreme Transcendence, who is eternally distinguished by his internal potency. His indistinguishable impersonal feature is realized by intelligence for self realization. I offer my obeisances unto him who, by his pastimes, who enjoys the creation, maintenance, and dissolution of the cosmic manifestation.
Text 15. यस्यावतारगुणकर्मविडम्बनानि नामानि येषु विक्रमे विश्वसा गृह्णन्ति तेनैकजन्म शमलं सहसैव हित्वा संयान्त्य अवावृतामृतं तम् अजं प्रपद्ये.
Let me take shelter of the lotus feet of him whose incarnations, qualities, and activities are mysterious imitations of worldly affairs. One who invokes his transcendental names, even unconsciously at the time he quits his life, is certainly washed immediately of the sins of many, many births and attains him without fail.
Text 16. यो वा अहं च गिरिशश्च विभुः स्वयं च स्थित्य उदत्प प्रलय हेतव आत्ममूलं भित्त्वा त्रिपात् विवृद्ध एक उरु प्ररोहस् तस्मै नमो भगवते भुवन द्रुमाय.
Your lordships is the prime root of the tree of the planetary systems. This tree has grown by first penetrating the material nature in three trunks, as me, Shiva, and you, the Almighty, for creation, maintenance, and dissolution, and we three have grown with many branches. Therefore, I offer my obeisances unto you, the tree of the cosmic manifestation.
Text 17. लोको विकर्म निरतः कुशले प्रमत्तः कर्मण्ययं त्वदुदिते भवदर्चने स्वे यस्तावदस्य बलवानिह जीवितासां सद्यश्चिनत चिन चिनत्य इनिमिषा नमोस्तु तस्मै.
People in general all engage in foolish acts, not in the really beneficial activities enunciated directly by you for their guidance. As long as their tendency for foolish work remains powerful, all their plans in the struggle for existence will be cut to pieces. I therefore offer my obeisances unto him who acts as eternal time.
Text 18. यस्माद्विभेभ्यहम् अपि द्विपरादतिष्णयम् अध्यासितः सकललोक नमस्कृतं यत् तेपे तपो बहुस्व वरुरुत्समानस् तस्मै नमो भगवते अधिमखाय तुभ्यम्.
Your Lordship, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who are indefatigable, time and the enjoyer of all sacrifices. Although I am situated in an abode which will continue to exist for a time duration of two parardas, although I am the leader of the all other planets in the universe, and although I have undergone many, many years of penance for self realization, still I offer my respects unto you.
Text 19. तीर्यन्मनुष्य विबुधादिषु जीवयोनिष्व आत्मे च यात्मा कृत्ता सेतु परिपस्यः रेमे निरष्टविषयोऽप्यवरुद्धदेहस्तस्मै नमो भगवते पुरुषोत्तमाय.
O my Lord, by your own will, you appear in the various species of living entities, among animals lower than human beings, as well as among the demigods, to perform your transcendental pastimes. You are not affected by material contamination. You come just to fulfill the obligations of your own principles of religion, and therefore, O Supreme Personality, I offer my obeisances unto you for manifesting such different forms.
Text 20. यो विद्ययानुपहतो विदशार्थवृत्तया निद्राम् उवाह जठारीकृतलोकयात्रः अन्तर्जले हि कशिपु स्पर्शनानुकूलां विमोर्मि मालिनी जनस्य सुखं विवर्णवान्.
My Lord, you accept the pleasure of sleeping in the water of devastation, where there are violent waves, and you enjoy pleasure on the bed of snakes, showing the happiness of your sleep to intelligent persons. At that time, all the universal planets are stationed within your abdomen.
Text 21. यन्नाभिपद्म भवनादहमासमिद्य लोकत्रयोपकर्णो उपकरणो यदनुग्रहेण तस्मै नमस्त उदरस्थ भवाय योग निद्रावसान विकसन्नलिनेकसनाय.
O object of my worship, I am born from the house of your lotus navel for the purpose of creating the universe by your mercy. All these planets of the universe were stationed within your transcendental abdomen while you were enjoying sleeping. Now, your sleep having ended, your eyes are open like blossoming lotuses in the morning.
Text 22. सोऽयं समष्ट जगतां सुहृदेक आत्मा सत्त्वेन यन्मृदयते भगवान् भगेन तेनैव मे दृशम् अनुस्फुरसाद् यथाहं स्रक्ष्यामि पूर्ववद् इदं प्रणतप्रियोऽसौ.
Let the Supreme Lord be merciful towards me. He is the one friend and soul of all living entities in the world, and he maintains all for their ultimate happiness by his six transcendental opulences. May he be merciful towards me so that I, as before, may be empowered with the introspection to create, for I am also one of the surrendered souls who are dear to the Lord.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you very much, Sri Lalita, Mataji, and Alka Mataji, for your recitation. Very nice. Dear devotees, welcome to today's chat session. We continue with our reading and discussion of chapter 9 of the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter entitled Brahma's Praise for Creative Energy. So we'll recite the Mangala Sharanam prayers. Please join in behind muted mics. Om Gyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmalitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yata Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Scha Shri Rupam Sahagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutan Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gourange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivashadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Asya Dishatarine Ila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Oh, devotees. Hopefully you can see my screen. So today we'll be reading and discussing text number 22 to 24. So this chapter entitled Brahma's Prayers for Creative Impetuous has the title acknowledges these are prayers. And we know from the instructions of Prahlad Maharaj that prayers, also known as Vandanam, are one of the 9 activities or processes of devotional service. So offering prayers is devotional service. It is an activity to please Lord Krishna, and Lord Krishna is very pleased by offering nice prayers. Now, according to the acharyas, according to our scriptures, when we offer prayers, there are some elements to it. And we can see in these prayers of Lord Brahma that these elements are being demonstrated. So in text 1 to 5, there's glorification. Glorifying the Lord is part of the prayers. And Lord Brahma glorified the Lord's supreme form. Then it is part of prayers is to state our own condition, the predicament we are in. And Lord Brahma does that in verses 6 to 10. Then this is a nice element of prayers. The Lord is a person. We are persons. And personal relationships are based on reciprocation. This is what stands out but Krishna's feature as Bhagavan. And Brahma praises in these verses 11 to 13, the Lord's reciprocation with his devotees. Another important aspect of prayers is offering obeisances to the Lord. And that is in verses 16 to 19. And the verses we start off with today is another category called requests. Normally, Bhagavatam is full of prayers. Bhagavatam is full of prayers by great devotees. And it is said when we study these prayers, we get insight into the heart of such great devotees. So in this section we're going to begin today, it's about requests. Now, normally when there is a request, cases, it is fruitive. It is seeking some personal gain or benediction from the Lord. But when we study the pure devotees, they also make requests. But their requests is of a completely different nature. So in these verses we're studying today, 22, 23, and 24, it's very beautiful, very instructive to see what Lord Brahma is requesting the Lord for. So let us dive into these verses. Actually, there's so many elements to it. But let's dive into these verses. And they are very instructive for us. We can learn from them a lot. So let me see now. Okay. So verse number 22. Soyam samasta jagatam surid eka atma satvena yan hridayate bhagavan bhagena tenaiva me drishamanusprissatad satad yatatham shrakshyami purvavad idam pranata priyo so. Okay, let's do the word for word. Sa, he, I am the Lord. Samasta Jagatam, of all the universes. Surit Ekaha, the one friend and philosopher. Atma, the super soul. Sadvena, by the mode of goodness. Yat, one who. Mriyate, causes happiness. Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead. Bhagena, with 6 opulences. Tena, by him. Eva, certainly. Me, too. Drisham, power of introspection. Anusprisas tat tat, let him give. Yata, as aham, I, shrakshyami, will be able to create. Purvat, as before. Idam, this universe. Pranata, surrendered. Priyaha, dear. So he, the Lord. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Let the Supreme Lord be merciful towards me. He is the one friend and soul of all living entities in the world. And he maintains all for their ultimate happiness by 6 transcendental opulences. May he be merciful towards me, that I, as before, may be empowered with the introspection to create. For I am also one of the surrendered souls who are dear to the Lord. Purport. The Supreme Lord Purushottam, or Sri Krishna, is the maintainer of all, in both the transcendental and material worlds. He is the life and friend of all, because there is eternally natural affection and love between the living entities and the Lord. He is the one friend and well-wisher for all, and he is one without a second. The Lord maintains all the living entities everywhere by his 6 transcendental opulences, for which he is known as Bhagavan, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Brahma prayed for his mercy so that he may be able to create the universal affairs as he did before. Only by the Lord's causeless mercy could he create both material and spiritual personalities like Marichi and Narada, respectfully. Brahma prayed to the Lord because he is very much dear to the surrendered souls. Surrendered soul. The surrendered soul knows nothing but the Lord, and therefore the Lord is very affectionate towards him. So there are many elements to this prayer, but the one that stands out is Lord Brahma praying for empowerment. This is very instructive, very important, because it shows the mentality and the consciousness of a surrendered soul, fully surrendered soul. And that consciousness is, I am unable to do anything or to achieve anything. I am helpless. I am without any capabilities, without the empowerment of the Lord. If the Lord does not empower us, we do not feel we are able to do anything. And further explanation of this will be given in the next verses. So Brahma is saying, my Lord, you want me to create, but you need to empower me. When Srila Prabhupada first arrived in America with the mission of his spiritual master to spread Krishna consciousness to the Western world, he compares himself to a puppet. And he writes in his prayer, Lord, if you want to make me dance, make me dance. And you can see this in the prayers of all of the great devotees of the Lord. They act without false ego. They act with a sense of complete dependence on the Lord. If Krishna wants to empower me, he will. Prabhupada told the devotees that when he was a young child, he and his sister Pishima would fly kites from the top of the roofs. And even while flying their kites, they used to have some competition. And they would pray to Krishna, even for the kites to fly. This means in every endeavor, we are remembering Krishna, we are depending on Krishna. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, in chapter number 6, I think it's verse number 30, Krishna says, if you act out of false ego, you will be lost. But if you act with complete dependence on me, you'll be successful. So Lord Brahma is showing in this verse something very instructive. That not to act out of false ego. And here also is recognizing that Krishna is responsible for maintaining everyone. Srila Prabhupada's purport is just so brilliant. It encapsulates Krishna's mood towards us. And I found this very interesting purport. Here Brahma is expressing his mood to the Lord. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada expresses the mood of the Lord towards such a devotee. That there is natural affection. And Krishna, Surit, the word is used here, Surit means friend and well-wisher. And he's one without a second. Why is he one without a second? Because we may have a friend, we may have a well-wisher. Although they are a friend, although they are well-wisher, they may not be fully capable to reciprocate or help us in all respects. But Krishna is fully capable to reciprocate in all respects, even much more than we can even fathom. Therefore, he is known as without a second. Now, there's another part of this verse which is very interesting. Krishna is being described firstly as the friend, and secondly as the soul of all living entities in the world. So we are the soul. And this verse is saying, Krishna is the soul of us. Now, this comes out in Bhagavatam a few times. Atmanam, Atmanam. The soul of the soul. Anyone has any realizations about why Krishna is described as the soul of all living entities? Any thoughts? Have you ever thought about this? When you've read it, it appears in Bhagavatam actually quite a few times where Krishna is described as the soul of the living entities. Okay, think about it if you want
Hare
to.
Krishna Prabhu, is it because he's the original soul and we are coming from him? The
Yes.
Achinta Bheda Bhed Tattva?
Yes, that is one nice reflection. That's because we are coming from Krishna. So he's a soul, just like in the body. Consciousness comes from the soul and it emanates or animates the entire body. In the same way, we come from Krishna. And it's that consciousness, original consciousness that we get from Krishna. Tiny particle. Same in quality, but different in quantity. Okay, we'll move on if there's no.
Prabhuji,
Yes.
it's a Paramatma is within us, and Paramatma is a like a can be considered as a Krishna himself, as a soul, because the soul is within the soul. That's why I think Krishna is described as a soul in living entities.
That's a nice thought, Puja Matade. That, Krishna is also a super soul. He's accompanying us everywhere. And it's interesting, to think about where is the super soul situated? Is he within the soul or is he within the atom? But definitely he's with us as friend, as Surit. So that can also be one understanding. He's the soul of the souls. Nice. Okay, we'll move on. We've got a few prayers and it's already 24 minutes past. Esha prapana varadhora mayatma shakta yad yat karishyati kriyata guna vataraha tasmin swavikramam idam sri jato pichetu yunjita karma shamalam chayata vijayam. Translation: the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, is always the benefactor of the surrendered souls. His activities are always enacted through his internal potency, Rama, or the goddess of fortune. I pray only to engage in his service in the creation of the material world. And I pray that I may not be materially affected by my works, for thus I may be able to give up the false prestige of being a creator. Purport. In the matter of material creation, maintenance, and destruction, there are three incarnations of the material modes of nature: Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara. But the Lord's incarnation as Vishnu in his internal potency is the supreme energy for the total activities. Brahma is only an assistant in the modes of creation, wanted to remain in his actual position as an instrument of the Lord instead of becoming puffed up by the false prestige of thinking himself the creator. This is the way of becoming dear to the Supreme Lord and receiving his benediction. Foolish men want to take credit for all creations made by them. But intelligent persons know very well that not a blade of grass can move without the will of the Lord. Thus, all the credit for wonderful creations must go to him. By spiritual consciousness only can one be freed from the contamination of material affection and receive the benedictions offered by the Lord. So here, Lord Brahma is praying for protection. Protection from what? From the false ego. The disease we suffer from the material world is we think we are the doer and we are the creator. That's the disease condition of life. And the healthy condition is to see that everything is happening and moving by the mercy and the benediction of Krishna. Therefore, devotees, they never take credit. Not only take credit, they never seek credit. They never seek praise for any accomplishment. I know the Matajis in the temple when they cook, if they make a nice sabji or they make a nice sweet preparation, and you tell them, Mataji, that was fantastic. That was so nice. These very advanced Matajis or Prabhus also cook. They almost universal reply will be, that is the mercy of Srimati Radharani. Srimati Radharani, she's in charge of the kitchen. And whatever we're cooking is for her pleasure. And if something doesn't turn out right, they put too much sugar or they burn the sabji, and immediately they recognize, I was not in proper consciousness. I was thinking I am the doer. So Krishna is teaching me, I am not the doer. So here Lord Brahma is praying, please, I make a request for you. I'm being engaged in the creation of this material world. Firstly, I pray that I may not be materially affected. And also, I may not fall under false prestige of thinking myself the creator. We know there is sarga and visarga, primary creation and secondary creation. So Lord Brahma, he is secondary creator. He's creating after everything, as we've been reading in previous chapters, is being set up by the Lord. So a devotee who is in right consciousness never tries to take credit. Never tries to take credit for their speaking, for their doing, for any of their achievements in Krishna consciousness. Knowing well that if they become proud at any point in time, Krishna can withdraw those powers that he's bestowing. And Krishna does that from time to time. Prabhupada says in the purport to Krishna book in relation to Lord Indra becoming proud, Prabhupada says when Krishna detects any pride in his devotee, he immediately takes action to remove that pride. So if we want to save ourselves some embarrassment, rather not go there. Rather not go there. And the next verse, verse 24. And this one, again, is very nice. It's a prayer for being saved from deviation. Nabhiridhadi asato ambashi yasya pumsho vijnana shaktiraham asam ananta shakti rupam vichitram idam asya vivrinvato me mari rishishta nigamasya kiram visharga. The Lord's potencies are innumerable. As he lies down in the water of devastation, I am born as the total universal energy from the navel lake in which the lotus sprouts. I am now engaged in manifesting his diverse energies in the form of the cosmic manifestation. I therefore pray that in the course of my material activities, I may not be deviated from the vibration of the Vedic hymns. Purport. Every person engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord in this material world is prone to so many material activities. And if one is not strong enough to protect himself against the onslaught of material affection, he may be diverted from the spiritual energy. In the material creation, Brahma has to create all kinds of living entities with bodies suitable for the material conditions. Brahma wants to be protected by the Lord because he has to contact many, many vicious living entities. An ordinary Brahmana may fall from the Brahma Tejas, or the power of Brahmanical excellence, due to his association with many fallen conditioned souls. Brahma, as the supermost Brahmana, is afraid of such a fall down, and therefore he prays to the Lord for protection. This is the warning for one and all in the spiritual advancement of life. Unless one is sufficiently protected by the Lord, he may fall down from his spiritual position. Therefore, one has to pray constantly to the Lord for protection and the blessing to carry out one's duty. Lord Chaitanya also entrusted his missionary work to his devotees and assured them of his protection against the onslaught of material affection. The path of spiritual life is stated in the Vedas to be like the edge of a sharpened razor. A little inattentiveness may at once create havoc and bloodshed. But one who is completely surrendered soul, always seeking protection from the Lord, in the discharge of his entrusted duties, has no fear of falling into material contamination. So, again, this is so instructive. Prabhupada's purport is a real wake-up call for us. Prabhupada says spiritual life is like a razor's edge. We go a little too much on the side of fruitive activities, we fall down into karma. If we go too much on the other side of too much austerities, we become an impersonous Mayavadi. Therefore, we see Prabhupada protects us in every translation of every verse, in every purport. Prabhupada is like our guardian. He's always reminding us, don't go too much this way, you'll deviate. Don't go too much that way, you'll deviate. This is the path. Stick to it. And those who are serious devotees they understand. You know, once Prabhupada was giving a class and he said in his class, I will never fall down. And after the class, Prabhupada was standing in front of the deities and he was praying. So one of his disciples was bold enough to ask, Srila Prabhupada, what were you praying for? And Prabhupada said, I was praying to Krishna that I may never fall down. Then the disciple said, but Prabhupada, you just said in class you will not fall down. And Prabhupada said, yes, because I am always praying that I may never fall down, I won't fall down. So we should always see Maya and the material energy. Everything we see, we should first think, this is Krishna's energy. How can I use this in Krishna's service? How can I use this to make Krishna happy? If we see anything and we do not have this thought, we'll fall prey to thinking of, how can I enjoy it? How can I utilize this for my purposes? And that's the fine line between Maya and being Krishna consciousness, being in Maya. Everything we see, immediately our consciousness should be, how to use this in Krishna service. Never how to use it for my enjoyment. We see a beautiful mango in the store. We see a beautiful drink. We may be prone to think, how can my senses be satisfied by this? That's a deviation from Krishna conscious. The one who's really Krishna conscious, they're always thinking, how can this be used to give pleasure to Krishna? How can this preparation, how can this fruit, how can this vegetable, how can this anything simply be used for Krishna's pleasure? And Lord Brahma is teaching us this so beautifully in these verses through his own personal instruction. He's afraid to be deviated, and he's praying to Krishna to prevent him from being deviated from the Vedic instructions. Hare Krishna, I'll stop here, dear devotees. Any comments, questions, reflections anyone has? We can know how Krishna conscious we are. If we ever thinking, how Krishna conscious am I really? Am I making advancement? One very easy test is to analyze our vision, introspect our vision. How do we see the world? How do we see the energy of Krishna? And the more we are seeing it in relation to Krishna, how it can be used for Krishna service, how to please Krishna and his devotees, how it can be used for increasing the preaching of Krishna's message, then we know we're becoming Krishna conscious. And the more we're thinking about things in relation to ourselves and our extended self, then we know where we are. Hare Krishna. Any questions, comments, corrections, reflections? Okay. Thank you very much, dear devotees, for your participation, your attendance, and your deep commitment to unfailingly every session be here for hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. And there's nothing but gain. We are associating with Krishna, we're associating with his devotees, we're associating with his instructions. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha
Kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice class. Thank you.
So much, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji for the nice
Hare
class.
Krishna. Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada ki jai.